Welcome. Welcome back to In the Meantime. If this is your first time, a special welcome to you. Today, I am going to introduce you to another facet or area of my life. I'm telling you, there are so many different areas to D. Today, I'm going to talk to you about MS, multiple sclerosis, which is the shortened form is MS. What is multiple sclerosis? Maybe you have heard about it, known about it, or maybe you have never heard anything about it. MS is an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks the brain and the spinal cord and sometimes the optic nerve. It damages the myelin sheath, which covers the nerve. Symptoms will vary from person to person. In fact, they say it's an individual disease. And this depends on the location and the severity of the damage to the nerves. You have symptoms like vision problems, where you go blind, or you will go blind, but sometimes you get back your sight. That is when the optic nerve is damaged. You have tiredness, trouble walking, numbness, weakness in arms and legs, nerve pain, and a whole host of other symptoms. The cause of MS is not known, but they say that a family history can also increase the risk of you having MS. As I said, there is no cure, but there are treatments that can reduce the symptoms. There are different types of MS. The three main types are relapsing, remitting MS, which is known as RRMS. In this type, you can take medication that will cause the disease to go into remission, and you will not have any symptom for a while, and then you might have a relapse after. That is where you get the relapsing from. That's in the name. Then there is secondary progressive. Secondary mean it started out as something else, as another stage, and then it gets to the secondary stage where there is more progression and less remission. And then you have primary progressive, where there is really no remission, it just progresses. My story. I never really had any symptoms until, well, let me take that back. I'll get back to that later down. How did I become aware that something was wrong? In 2012, June of 2012, I woke up one morning, and when I placed my feet on the ground, I could hardly feel them, the bottom of my feet. They were numb. I went to the bathroom, and when I sat on the toilet, I could hardly feel my bum. After peeing and trying to dry myself, I could hardly feel my private parts. Was I frightened? Not so much. I came later down and I came to the rec room and I stayed in the rec room and I got my computer and I started looking up the symptoms that I was experiencing. And I honed in on one particular condition. Anyway, I wasn't worried. I said to myself, oh, by tomorrow, this will go. So I went to bed, still feeling numb, and I woke up the next day, placed my feet on the ground, and I had the same sensation, same numbness. I go to the toilet, bathroom, same numbness, and now I kind of got worried. I continued my research with Dr. Google, and I still honed in on the same condition, something called cauda equina syndrome. I think it's where the nerve is caught in the back part, the lower part of your back, and it can be quite a serious condition. So I called the health center where my family doctor was, and they told me to come in same time. So I got dressed and I drove over there. And the same condition that I had honed into was what the doctor was thinking. So she sent me to the hospital to get MRIs done. Um, the thing too is that I had always suffered from lower back problem. My lumbar vertebrae, I was always having pain with it. There was some stenosis going on down there, so they also thought, that it was a worsening of it. So I went to the Emerge and I did MRI of the lumbar spine, and it came back okay. There was no entrapment of any of the spinal cord or anything. So they said I should come back the next day, check in for some other test. Um, I checked in, but I did go back the following day, and the numbness was still there. I checked in. Um, I got some tests done, but I didn't wait for the results um, because my daughter was having her prom, and I wanted to come and assist her in getting dressed. So, because I was living with my daughter alone, it was just my daughter and I that were living together. So I checked out of the hospital and came home, assisted her with getting her dressed, and saw her off with her friends to the prom. And I then went back to the hospital and checked in. And they saw me and they gave me the results of the other tests that they had done, and they did not find anything. I came home and the symptoms continued. I think this Saturday, that was the Friday. So this Saturday, I was here feeling very down by this. I won't lie. I had now gotten concerned. I wasn't worried at first, but by this I was getting concerned, wondering what it is. And I laid in the rec room, and by the Sunday, I was bumping into the walls. I felt creepy crawlies on my legs. So I called the ambulance and I went to the hospital. It so happened that the doctor that I saw on the Friday was the same doctor that was there that day. And even though I had to wait for a while, I did see him, and he told me, he said, I am not sending you out today until I find out what is wrong with you. So he ordered a scan. Was it, I think, a CT scan? And it didn't show anything. And then he called for the neurologist. He came and he examined me. His bedside manners were so poor. He examined me and he was so upset. He said, I don't see anything wrong with you. And by this, the doctor, the attending doctor, had said that he was going to send me for an MRI of the brain, the cervical spine, and the thoracic spine. I had already done the lumbar spine from the first time I went in there. And he said he was going to have me admitted. The neurologist now said he did not see anything wrong with me. So I said, are you going to tell me nothing is wrong with me? Is it in my head that I am feeling all this numbness? My bum is numb, my private parts are numb, and all these creepy crawlies going over my skin. He said, you're not giving me anything to work with. You need to give me something to work with. I don't know what he expected me to give him to work with. And he said, I don't see the need for them to do any MRI. And I don't see the need for you to be hospitalized. Oh my word. Up to this day, I don't know what was wrong with him. Anyway, I did the MRIs and I was admitted in the hospital. I called my daughter to let her know that I was gonna be staying at the hospital, and we do not have any relatives in this city. It's just she and I, and she had some of her school friends. So it was kind of bothersome for me in that to be in such a condition, worrying and concerned and not having any support. So I slept, or did I sleep? I'm not even sure. But anyway, the next day, at some point, the neurologist came to my bedside, and with a very sheepish look on his face, he said, I'm so sorry. When I examined you, I did not see anything wrong with you, but your MRIs are not normal. Something is wrong. You can imagine how frightened I was. So he told me that they saw a few things on my brain MRI and one or two on my spine. My head was going in all directions. I wasn't even digesting properly what he was saying to me. A nurse was there and he said he needed to do a spinal tap, which is to take the spinal fluid from where my spinal cord was. So he told me to lean over on the bed and he pushed this big needle in my back and took out the spinal fluid. And that was that. Um, the nurses I had were very, very nice, especially one of them. She brought me some information, some, papers with MS, multiple sclerosis, and of course, I was so frightened. And I stayed in there a few days. They did not give me any treatment. I didn't know what MS was or how it was to be treated. I have taken care of people with MS, but I never really knew what caused it and how it was supposed to be treated, etc., etc. So in the hospital, at that time, I did not know to advocate for myself that I should have been given certain stuff. Anyway, I spent about 4 days in the hospital. My daughter came to see me, and my pastor's wife came to see me. I called them, let them know I was there, and a friend came to see me also, and she gave me a ride home. In my next video, I will continue to tell you how I eventually came to the diagnosis of MS and whatever follows from there. So, thank you for watching, and please leave in the comment section, do you know anybody with MS? Do you have any experience with MS? Etc., etc. And let's continue to talk in the meantime while I wait on the Lord. So, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do. Please hit the notification bell so that you will know when I post another video. And until then, God bless you and keep you.